The most interesting thing about A Boring World Where the Concept of Dirty Jokes Doesn't Exist is how it is almost accidentally a commentary on itself. Taking place in exactly the setting which the title describes, Shimoneta is a show about a group of erotic terrorists trying to spread the message of sex to a disturbingly innocent public. While mostly dedicated to raunchy humor, Shimoneta actually makes an interesting point about how a society will become completely ignorant about themselves if they are sheltered from information about their own nature. In its attempt to protect its citizens from harmful thoughts, the society in which the series is set has raised a generation of idiot kids who act more outlandishly than they might have otherwise out of a simple lack of understanding for what it means to actually have or think about sex. This message is especially prescient as presented via anime, a medium overrun with oddball ideas about sexuality, manifested through an audience and perhaps through creators who are sheltered from or inexperienced in the subject. Bear in mind that Japan is a country wherein genitals are censored even in porn, and wherein there is basically no porn whatsoever which resembles real-life sex, at least not audibly. But where the show's social commentary really gets turned up to 11 is in the sheer weight of censorship placed on the show itself. Even the goddamn OP was censored in places, along with a significant amount of the dialogue. It's not enough that these characters are subverting the rules of a supposedly extreme culture of censorship, they're too lewd for the actual culture that the show actually belongs to, which is both hilarious and ridiculous, considering the point that the series is making about how dangerous it is to keep a population ignorant about things like this, and how it presents the harmlessness of lewd humor right there in its narrative. In a way, the fact that this show is so heavily censored is honestly embarrassing. It's a situation in which I can laugh at the culture that the show is presenting, up until the moment when its broadcast reminds me that the actual culture it belongs to is halfway towards being that laughable culture. And considering that censorship laws are always in flux around the world, often growing even more strict in regards to sexual content, the feasibility of a world like this doesn't always seem so unlikely. Sure, the world in this show is obviously a far-flung extreme, but if you talk to pretty much anyone about sex who doesn't consider themselves an expert in the field, you'll find that most people don't know jack shit about it, and are possibly being actively harmed by their own ignorance. The number of people I've talked to who are totally ignorant about sex and sexuality is incredibly disturbing, and it's our social unwillingness to normalize and explain the subject which is causing this epidemic of ignorance. It's for this reason that, for me, the revolutionary blue snow actually worked as a legitimate symbol of hope and resistance whose message I could totally get behind, and Shimoneta managed to feel more like a biting satire than a trashy light novel adaptation has any right to. If this video interested you, then stick around on my channel as I continue discussing the most interesting aspects of various media which I don't have much else to say about. Support me on Patreon to help keep these videos coming and to more easily follow the wellspring of content which I release across a million channels. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.